Hi everyone, my name's Zoe, and today we're going to be talking about Teacher Performance Expectation 4. First, we'll discuss what it is and why it's important. Then I'll share with you some research that I've done on the topic and how that information can relate to TPE 4. And then we'll look at some practical strategies for incorporating it in our classrooms. TPE 4 focuses on making content accessible for every student. Here are the expectations of teachers laid out in this TPE. Incorporate specific strategies, teaching and instructional activities, procedures, and experiences that address academic content standards. Use instructional materials to reinforce state-adopted content standards. Prioritize and sequence essential skills and strategies in a logical, coherent manner. Vary instructional strategies according to purpose and lesson content. Provide opportunities and adequate time for students to practice and apply what they have learned. Develop student skills in using and understanding academic language. Teach students strategies to read and comprehend a variety of texts and information, sources in the subjects taught. Encourage student creativity and imagination, and motivate students and encourage student effort. And finally, balance instruction by adjusting lesson designs relative to students' current level of achievement. As you can see, this TPE focuses mainly on individualizing learning so that every student has an equal opportunity to access the content. The article that I chose that relates to this TPE is Making Learning Meaningful and Accessible, and I'll put the link to that article in the Blackboard post. In this article, the author explains that effective teachers focus on the student rather than just the content. These teachers recognize that there is more than one way of learning the content and work to include as many of these learning styles as possible in their classroom to reach all students in a way that can be easily understood. In this mindset, the lesson is flexible and will change depending on the group of students. It takes student interests into consideration, and teachers can adjust their content and approach based on the unique needs of their students. In short, expert teachers teach the student, not the curriculum. This method of teaching sounds ideal, but the important question is how can we as teachers apply it practically in our classrooms? A great way to incorporate the ideas of TPE 4 is through differentiated instruction. The article focuses strongly on differentiated instruction, and I see a strong connection between it and TPE 4. Differentiated instruction is defined as a proactive planning process that expresses the material in multiple ways and allows learning to be showcased in multiple ways. This means that learning should not be seen as a one-size-fits-all type of model. Learning looks different for every child, and it's important for teachers to keep that in mind. By providing many different ways of accessing the content, teachers can open doors for students who would really benefit from differentiated instruction. And by providing more than one way for students to showcase what they've learned, teachers can promote real and deep learning, rather than students simply memorizing answers for a test and forgetting them soon after. TPE 4 stresses the importance of varied teaching strategies that will help more students understand the content and have access to it. Both the article and TPE 4 emphasize that learning should be student-centered. Teachers are not there to teach curriculum, they're there to teach students. Because of this, it makes sense that learning should be designed around individual students in order to help them achieve their best. This might seem like a really difficult task, especially when you consider how many students are in a classroom. It would seem challenging to design lessons with each child in mind, as they all have very unique needs, strengths, and room for improvement. However, applying student-centered differentiated instruction and fulfilling TPE 4 does not have to be a daunting task. When designing methods to teach the content, we can ask ourselves 3 questions about our students. First, readiness. Is the student ready for this task? This is where a teacher must consider where the child is developmentally and academically. In a classroom, it is highly likely that there will be a wide range of developmental and academic readiness, especially in those early elementary years. Maybe the majority of the class is ready for a task, but there are a few students who you think aren't quite ready for it, or some who would not be challenged enough by the lesson. Here is where the content can be modified and manipulated to fit the unique needs of each student. To best serve these students, teachers must keep them and their unique abilities in mind during the lesson design. Second, student profile. How does this student learn? There are so many different styles of learning, and no one style is the right way. Therefore, it's important for teachers to provide multiple different approaches to the content so that every student has access to it. This means that teachers must take time to understand how every student learns. With this knowledge, we can cater our methods of teaching the content to best serve every student. Third, student interest. As teachers, we can ask ourselves, what is this student interested in? If we can find ways to engage our students by incorporating their interests into our lessons and our approaches to teaching, we're likely to open up new doors for them. Learning can and should be fun. We can find creative ways to include things that are relevant and exciting to our students in our lessons. Differentiated instruction goes hand in hand with TPE 4. By assessing the individual needs of every student, we as teachers can make learning something accessible to them. Our job is to understand our students so that we can serve them best. This means that part of fulfilling TPE 4 is connecting with and understanding the unique needs of our students. This will open doors for us to enhance and maximize the learning process for students, giving them all equal access to the content. To reflect a little bit on this lesson, here are the discussion questions to answer on Blackboard. First, so what? What does this mean for you and the content and grade you want to teach? 2, now what? What are the practical ways that you can apply this information in your classroom? 3, what do you see as the biggest challenge to making learning accessible for all students? 4, did you experience differentiated instruction in school, or was content taught in one specific way to all students? And 5, what is a creative way that you can incorporate student interest in your lessons to make learning more accessible to them? Thanks so much for watching my presentation, and I can't wait to read all of your discussion posts.